Ted Wyman here at IG Field with the legendary broadcaster Bob Irving from CJOB Radio. And Bob, the Blue Bombers 6-2 facing a 1-7 BC Lions team. Should be an easy win, right?
Well, that's what a lot of people think. I think most people think that, Ted, and we found out a couple of weeks ago in Toronto that it doesn't work that way when the Argos pulled the upset of the season and knocked off the Bombers. I tell you what, I watched that BC Hamilton game. I'm sure you did too last weekend, and the Lions dominated it in every way. Should have won in Hamilton against a good Hamilton team, but sort of gave it away at the end. They had a big lead. They had over 400 yards of offense. They had 30 first downs. They had 37 minutes time of possession, and they still found a way to lose the game. So based on that performance, I would say we're going to see a different BC team here than we saw in week one when the Bombers went out there and won.
Absolutely. They did have an excellent game. They do have an excellent quarterback in Mike Riley. He was a little bit banged up after that last game, but he's starting to come around, and their running game is starting to come around. They got only 4 yards on 4 rushes against the Bombers in week one. Last week they had 150 yards. That can make a real difference, but this is not an easy team to run against, these Blue Bombers.
No, that's right. Well, John White was, I think, a big key in that game for their offense. He was able to run effectively, and that allowed Mike Riley to do, the passing without being under pressure all the time. He was still sacked 4 times, but a lot less pressure than he's had in a lot of games. But you're right, the Bombers are tough to run against, so it's going to be strength on strength in that area. The Lions are going to try to run the ball for sure, because it just opens up their offense, and the Bombers will be determined to shut them down, so we'll see how that goes.
There's just been a lot of talk this week about Matt Nichols, the Blue Bombers quarterback. You know what? He's 6-2. He's got a great winning record with this team in his time here.
Yeah.
He just hasn't been putting up much yardage the last couple of weeks, and he didn't get the ball in the end zone last week. There's a lot of criticism. What do you think of that criticism?
Well, he's not spectacular enough for some of the fans. I think that's what it boils down to. They want to see more flash and dash are the terms I use from the offense, and particularly from the quarterback, and they're not seeing it right now. They're seeing an effective offense that relies a lot on their ground game, which of course will keep the passing numbers down every time. He takes care of the ball. He's thrown 4 picks, Ted, in 8 games. I mean, that's fantastic.
And 14 touchdowns.
And 14 touchdowns. But the 4 picks, to me, are part of the reason the Bombers are having success, because they don't give the ball away. And turnovers cost BC the game in Hamilton last week. So if you could avoid those, it's critically important. I think that maybe doesn't get quite as much recognition as it should, but it's all about the passing yards. Some of the fans want to see more passing yards from Matt Nichols. They want to see more spectacular plays, some long bombs, and all the rest of it. And I guess until that happens, those people are not going to be happy, even if the team's winning.
I think those fans want to see him win the game for the Blue Bombers, not just be the one that doesn't lose it for them. And right now, Andrew Harris has been carrying them on his back, and the passing game hasn't really been a factor for the last couple of weeks. I'm sure fans would like to see it more balanced, and that's basically the situation. But I think they have the capability of doing that.
Oh, so do I. And again, people forget that Matt has led game-winning drives during his time here. But you're right, I think they want to see that. They want to see him kind of take the team on his back and lead them to victory. And so we'll see how it plays out. I know the club is quite happy with the fact that they're winning games. And as Mike O'Shea often says, hey, whether we win with special teams being excellent, or the defense forcing turnovers, or the offense doing what they do, it doesn't matter as long as we win. And that really is the bottom line. And I think, Ted, the offense will do more than they're doing. I think they can improve their passing game, and I think they will. I don't think there's any reason they won't.
Well, last week they didn't need to be very good in the passing game, because they had great special teams from Janarian Grant and a great running game from Andrew Harris. At IG Field with Bob Irving, I'm Ted Wyman for the Winnipeg Sun.